Hello and welcome, Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. So good to see you and thanks for joining me today. Well, spring is in the air. That is really great for most of us, but some of us, this is a time completely that they are dreading, getting out there and all the pollen and stuff like that. So I want to show you some reflexes that may help with hay fever or allergies, seasonal allergies. So let's go take a look at that. So we probably know somebody or us ourselves might have seasonal allergies, right? Hay fever, sort of spring's out and pollen's flying everywhere and our eyes are getting irritated, they're itchy, they're scratchy, we're getting congested, our nose is running, we're, just not feeling really great. Spring is a great time of year, everything's changing over and stuff, but yeah, it's a challenge for a lot of people. So in this video, I want to share with you a lot of the points that are really helpful and focused on allergies, right? So these are the points that I'm gonna cover. We're gonna cover the head. We're gonna do the pituitary, the master gland, the cervical spine. We're gonna work on the neck, the sinuses, the Eustachian tubes, the eyes, the lungs, the bronchioles, the diaphragm, the adrenal glands, stomach, liver, large and small intestines, right? All these points are related to allergies and the areas in your body that get affected when you are dancing around with allergies in the spring and changing of the seasons, right? So let's go take a look at that. Down below, just because this is going to be a longer video, there'll be a timeline that you'll be able to skip through and check out, the reflex or how to do those certain little points. So as you're watching this, you can kind of skip through it. Or, later on, if you come back to the video, you'll be able to find out where you left off, or you want to look at that one section again. That's how you do it, is there's a little timeline in the video below. So let's get into it. I'm going to work on myself, and we'll be jumping from foot to foot, but mostly I'll be showing you on my left foot. Just note that everything that I do on my left foot also gets done on the right foot, other than when we get down to the large intestine and also the stomach and liver. Stomach's only done on the left foot and the liver's done on the right foot. The large intestine starts on the right foot and then goes over to the left foot, right? So just have that. But other than that, everything else is on both feet. So let's go take a look at how to do that on ourselves. Okay, so head reflex. Okay, pad of the big toe. One hand supports, the other one's going to work. Okay, and then you're going to flip. So the way that I like to do this is take my thumb, start at the very bottom of the pad here on the medial side, and walk your thumb up all the way to the top. Okay, and then you're going to do a little switch. So now the other hand is going to be like a backboard. This one comes across the top now, starting from the lateral side of the top of the big pad of the toe, and you walk across the top. Okay, and then you move this line in a little bit, and you go like that, and then you go like this. Okay, and you move it in, move it down, move it in, move it down, move it in. So essentially, you're drawing little lines all the way across like this, all the way across. Okay, so you're not stopping and meeting like this. You're actually, one line goes all the way through and the other one comes all the way through. Move that one down, move that one down. Okay, so you're actually, at the end of it, you're creating, and you have covered the entire pad from different angles, right? So that's one way of doing it. Another way is you can just work the entire pad of the toe by doing maybe I'll call this a dot to dot sort of technique, right? So that works. But you want to just make sure that the pad is covered really well, because there's so much that's going on in the head that you don't want to miss anything, okay? So that is how you work the big toe. If you have a tool like this, that might work for you. You can use it any way that you feel fit. So for this one, it's got a bit of a knobby thing on it, so I could just roll that over all the pad of the big toe, or I can push directly straight in. It has this textured bit here, so I can work across that way, and then you can go the other way, right? So that's an example of that. If you have another one, so this one's a little bit different. I use this as an extension of my finger, so I hold it kind of like that, and you can just do same sort of thing. The point is to work every little area that's in your big toe, and because you're working on yourself, you can feel where there might be sensitivity. Like I feel a little bit of sensitivity up here, so I'm going to work that a little bit extra as I'm working the entire head reflex. Okay, so that's the head. Okay, so pituitary. So that is found on the pad of the big toe where the swirls come together. So if I just zoom in here a little bit. Okay, so you can look at the pad of the toe and see where the swirls come together, and that will be where the pituitary is going to be. Or there's usually a sticky outy part. Okay, so this little part there, if you can see it, sticks out. And so that's where it's going to be. Okay, right in there. What you're going to do is put the hooking part of your thumb right on that, in the little divot there. Okay, so the interesting thing about it is when you put your thumb in the right place, it feels like it's almost like a little cave. Okay, so when you get it, you'll feel around like this. So you can search around a little bit so you make sure that you find it. And when you're doing that, even though it sticks out here, when you're actually feeling it, it actually feels like there's almost like a cave, almost like a hole that you want to get into. And so there, once you found it, you want to hook it out medially. Okay, so I found it there, and I'm going to hook it out medially there. So there it is there. You can see I'm hooking medially. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You can use a tool as well, and you're going to push straight in, right on that spot, and I'm going to turn and push medially again. So to the center of the foot. Okay. When I say medially, that means to the middle, towards your other foot, right? If my other foot was here, but towards the inside of your foot there. This would be the outside. Okay, so push in and then that direction. Okay, and you can just stimulate it that way. You can just push straight in as well, but I tend to like to push and then pull that way. Be careful with this one. It can be a little bit sensitive, and when you do have the point exactly, it can make you almost jump out of your seat, right? So just be aware of that. But if you're doing this on yourself, you will be feeling it the whole way, and so that's really good. But if you're working on with a client, just be mindful not to really dig in there too hard, especially if you choose to use a tool, which I would not recommend on a client. Use your own thumb on a client. That's what I would recommend. So again, it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Good. Pituitary gland. So the neck is found on the stem of the big toe, on the plantar surface here, bottom of the foot, around the sides, back of the toe here, and to the medial side again. So it's a complete circle all the way around. Okay. Now, there's many different ways that you can work this. One of them would just be to move around like this and feel for sensitive areas all the way around the foot. Okay. Another way, so when I do this with clients, I have a little bit of a method that I do. I'll share that with you. So it's like this. So thumb starting here, going across the plantar surface here, and then where I left off on the inside, I'm going to go back the other way with my thumb. Then I'm going to go on the side and work around the back, and then work around the side again with my finger, and then I'm going to come around that way and go that way again. So it kind of looks like this. Thumb, thumb, finger, finger. Okay, so I'll show that to you. So thumb, thumb, finger, index, and sometimes your toes get in the way, so I just do a little flip around so I can walk straight all the way around there and then walk all the way around this way. Okay, so that's how I do that, and I do that many times. And because I'm working on myself, I can spend a little bit more time where there's some sore areas, right? If you want to use a tool, you can go step by step, pushing little dots all the way along, around there, the side, and back, and side again, and then come over to the front. So personally, I like my thumb and my fingers to work. So you can just do a little random finger circular motions all the way around till you get the neck feeling pretty good. So that's the neck, stem of the big toe. So we're going to work the spine, cervical spine, which is where the nose is here, the little sticky outy part there, across from where your nail bed is, right? You have your nail bed, and then straight across there is the spine, top of the spine. Because in your face, right directly behind your nose, is the top of the spine where the axis is, where your head turns. Okay, so that's why we start there. And then we're going to come down to the 7 cervical, which is the kind of bunion bump, or the biggest part of the knuckle right there. Okay, so I like to work with my thumb, walk down to there, and walk back up again. Okay, so what we're going to do with this one is just work this whole area really, really well. Okay, work around this way, work around this way. Okay, and just work the cervical spine really, really good. So this is basically C1 down to C7. Okay, so that little bump on the back of your neck, that's where that C7 is. So you're working this whole area really, really well. Okay, I tend to like to use this tool for this because you can roll it around like this and it feels quite good. Use your other hand to support nicely and just work around that way. Okay, that's working the cervical spine. Sinuses next. Okay, sinuses are the pads of the toes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. No real rules with this. Just work the pads of the toes really well. So as you can see here, I'm kind of just using a free-for-all technique where I'm just kind of pinching and rolling the toes around. Okay. When I work with a client, I use my one hand as a nice support here, and then I come down the pad and I just give it a nice little hook up at the bottom. And this feels great as I'm working on myself as well. Okay, so I'd work all there, work all the pads really well. If you want to use a tool, you can do that. So you can roll all the way, and it's a small area, so I slip right off. That's why it's good to have a nice solid sort of backdrop to work against. So it's really good that way, and you can work. And yeah, actually I prefer to use this tool because I can feel how sensitive these toe pads are. I'm going to push straight in on the sinuses here as well. So directly straight in the center of the pad of each toe. Okay, and this feels really nice. And I just like to hold it a little bit. I can give a tiny bit of a swirl as well. And yeah, they're very sensitive. Okay. So again, when you're working on yourself, this is totally fine to do. With a client, just be very cautious if you're going to be using a tool, because it's so easy to go deep and hurt, right? So that's sinuses. Along with the sinuses, I like to work the Eustachian tubes. Okay, and Eustachian tubes are found on each side of the 4 toes. Okay, so I like to walk my index finger down one side, and then I like to walk my index finger down the other side. It's a little bit hard to see there, but you can kind of get what I'm doing, hopefully. Okay, and then you walk down this side, this side, this side, and the pinky. So I find it really good to keep my hands open like this. So if I'm holding the toes, I use my middle finger and thumb to hold the toe, right, like I have there, right? And that frees up my index fingers to work. And then I just walk down one side and walk down the other. Okay, and then one side, down the other. So hopefully that makes sense. Good. And you work that all the way on either side. Again, searching for any sensitive parts, and if you find some, work it a little bit extra. So that's the Eustachian tubes. Sinuses, Eustachian tubes. Reflex to the eyes and ears. So these toes are more eyes, okay? And these toes are more ears. But if you look at the head, they cross over, right? So the ears go to the middle, and then the eyes come across, and then they go to the opposite side of the head. So I see these eyes and ears as one reflex, okay? So you might be focused more on the eyes, but you're also benefiting the ears as well. If you're focusing more on the ears, you're also benefiting the eyes as well. But I see these as almost one reflex, even though they are 2 separate ones. So yeah, let's get into it. So there's 3 methods that I use to work the eyes and ears. One of them is kind of like unscrewing the light bulb. So I start right at the bottom of the stem of your second toe, and what you're going to be doing is twisting all the way around like this and moving up as you go. So to really slow it down, I turn, so I clamp down, I turn around the bone, moving the flesh, and then I let go, move up slightly, and do the same process. Move up, turn, 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 move up, turn, 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 move up, turn, turn, turn. And then once you speed it up a little bit, it looks more like this. It looks like you're almost unscrewing a light bulb, okay? So when you get onto the toe here, on a smaller area, it looks like this. Okay, and I go all the way to just below the nail bed. Okay, all the way. And then you can use, this is easier for me to use this hand, but you can't see it when I do that, so I'll use my left hand. Get right in there, turn, 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 turn. There you go there. Turn, 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 turn. Okay, so this is the first method, which is unscrewing the light bulb. Okay, the next one is going to be, I call this the pinky. And you're going to take your pinky, put it right in between, and you are going to push down. Okay, so you're pushing straight down into the webbing of each toe. Okay, so you're going to go there and push down. You might find that it kind of puts a little bit of stress on your finger, right? And that's okay. The reason why we use it is so that you don't apply too much pressure. But if you're working on yourself, you can do a bit more of a, kind of this method, where you can use your whole hand and push down. And then if you can get it in there between your pinky and your 4th toe, and push straight down. So yeah, can you see that there? So I'll just show it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see that I do a little bit of a wiggle there, and that's just because it feels good. If you want to use a tool, you can, but be very, very careful. Again, it's recommended when you're working on yourself, this is fine. But when you're working with a client, I do not recommend it. Unless you're so used to working with tools, that's fine. Same method here. So what you're really doing here is getting it in there, in between the toes, and pushing straight down towards the heel. Okay, to stimulate right in between there. Good. And then we do the third one, which is called the push down. Okay, and the way that this looks is you work right along the top of the ball of the foot here and pushing down towards your heel. Okay. So my pressure is pushing straight down this way. And you can work all the way across one way, and then you can work across the other way as well. So this is very similar to the shoulder reflex, except the shoulder reflex, the pressure is going the opposite way. But this one's really down, straight down this way. And what this is targeting is actually your shoulders, neck area, pushing straight down into that, because there's, when there's lots of eye tension and stuff, your neck is involved as well. And also any type of hearing, sort of clogged congestion. Also it's related to neck issue and stuff like that. So pushing straight down this way, you're working the reflex to, sort of the neck, shoulders, tension area as well. Okay, if you want to use a tool, same thing, just push straight down this way. Good. Again, stopping for any type of ouchy parts, sensitive parts, and working them, just giving them a little bit of extra care. There you go, eyes and ears. You have the light bulb, the pinky, okay, and you have the push down. Okay, so lungs, they are found in the ball of the foot here. They are more found from the fourth toe to the fifth. Fourth, I said fourth. Second toe to the fifth toe, okay? All in this area here, okay? Total ball of the whole foot. This part would be the sternum. So your lungs are found on, each side of the sternum. So that's why we work there. And the lungs don't really have, air comes in and then circulates and does all its thing. But there's no real direction that you need to go with this one. So I like to just do a dot-to-dot type of action all on the lungs, which is the ball of the foot. Okay, so this whole area. And this area gets a lot of use, especially if we walk barefoot, things like that. So I think it's beneficial to use more of a tool to really get in there, because this is used to taking the body weight, right, when you're walking or moving around. So it feels really good to kind of go in here. And you can just see how I'm just using some different methods to work out the area. And what I'm doing is just searching for any type of, ouchy areas. Right. And so, yeah, not too complicated, but you just work this whole area right there. Okay, so it's quite a big area. That is the lungs. So the bronchioles are found in the lungs, and those are those big tubes that come down inside your lungs, a windpipe basically, and it turns into the bronchioles, and then they go smaller and smaller and smaller. But I find them to be worked really well on the back here. And they are found in between the valleys basically of the bones, okay? And so I use my full hand and I get right in there and I clamp down, so pressure is with my thumb and also my fingers, okay? And I am going to clamp down and then just move up and down a little bit here, okay? And this is going to stimulate the whole area, and you're going to find that it's quite tender in there, and that's good. And you want to work it up until you feel the bones kind of come together. So if you look at my hand here, you can see if I can make my hand, see how these bones come up like that, and then they join there, right? That's what you're kind of looking for. You want to stop when you get to that area. And so if you feel, you'll feel that it stops about there, about there, about there, about there, about there, okay? But you have to kind of feel for it. Another way to do it is walk down the valley. So you're going to be using your fingers like this, and you're going to walk down one way, and then you're going to walk down the other. So this is how I like to do that as well. So walk down one side, pushing into the bone, and then you push against the other bone there, and then you can walk down that way. Okay? So walk down, walk down, walk down, walk down, walk down, walk down, walk down. And you finish off all the back there. So there's kind of like this method here, getting in there and massaging the whole valley, right? Or there's a walking down method this way as well. Another thing is you can work in here with your trusty tool, and you can kind of move down this way. Again, this might be a little bit too sensitive because when you're on the back of the foot here, you know, skin's a little bit thinner and stuff like that. So really, I like to use my fingers. And I also like to do a little bit of a kind of free-for-all with my fingers, like I am there. So I'm working the entire back of the foot. And remember, the whole lung area is quite big, right? So you work all this whole area here. So you're working basically between your big toe and second toe here, right down here, all the way over. Right, and you just work that area really, really well. So that is working the bronchioles. So diaphragm is one of our landmarks. And just to refresh that, it's right around this big knuckle here, all the way around to there, and over to this side here. And there's a natural chlorine, so if you pull your toes back, you can see this line that runs across here. Okay? And so that's the diaphragm. One way to work it is to try and open it up by pulling down this way. So I'm using my thumbs to pull it down. I move out a little bit and pull down, pull down, pull down. And I like to do a little bit of a stretch here as well. I might want to do one side at a time. This can kind of irritate some people's skin, especially if they have really dry skin. So just be a little bit cautious that way. You can do little dots like this, which might actually feel better. But yeah, you just want to work all the way across the diaphragm line here. And I put special attention on pulling it down, trying to leave more space for the lung area to expand. Okay, so you can work your tool, if you have one, all the way across this way, searching for any type of tension. Good. So that is the diaphragm line. Thymus gland is found right where the bunion bump would be here. Okay. So if you've seen anybody with a bunion, they usually have this joint here, kind of doing a train wreck, right? Like comes out like that, right? So it pops out right there. So you're going to find there, and then you're going to come down in between the big toe and the second toe here, and just draw a line. And then you're going to come where that line is on the opposite side of where the bunion would be. And then you're going to feel inside here until you can feel basically the other side of this. So the knuckle on the inside, okay, the joint. Once you have found that, this is a little bit awkward to do on yourself because it's going to mess a little bit with your wrist. But you want to pull it out medially as well. So you put that working part of your thumb right on that joint, and you're going to pull it out medially. Okay, so it looks like this. You might be able to get in this way and push up that way. That's fine as well. Yeah, that seems to be getting it good. And this might be a time to pull out your trusty tool and again push in this way. This is a little bit awkward to do actually. Let's see if I can get, yeah, that one actually works a little bit better. So it looks like I'm going that way, but I am really pulling with my thumb up this way, okay? And that's how you work the thymus gland. And this one is most common to be quite sensitive, and you know you'll have it, right? There's a little point in there that goes, yep, that's it, and you'll be working it that way. So yeah, you can work it as much as you want to kind of alleviate any issues there, right? So that's the thymus. The adrenals sit on top of the kidneys, but for our purposes it's a little bit more medial, okay? So the kidney sits about there. This one's a little bit on right about there, okay? So how you find that is where the diaphragm line is and where the hip line is. It's going to be in the center of that, in zone 1 here, which is under the big toe. And it's, for me, it's more of a feel type of thing. And this point is always sensitive, at least on me. And it's very common for most people because the adrenals just, you know, stress response, anything like that that is working in our body that causes us stress. So allergies even, hay fever, stuff like that. It's good to work the adrenal gland. So again, it's found hip line, diaphragm line, right in the center. And I just kind of slide down and I feel for it. I do a little searching with my circular motion here. And this one, again, you're pulling out medially. Okay, so once I have it, I can feel, oh yeah, that's it, right there. And I'm going to hook medially and pull straight out. So I'm almost hooking in and around and then pulling out, right? There you go there. So that's the adrenal glands. Yeah, that's quite sensitive. Let's see. Oh yeah. So yeah, be careful with this one. You can really, ow, ow, ow. Right? So you know you can find it really good. And you know, doing reflexology on yourself, especially if you're wanting to do it as a profession, it's probably the best place to start because you can really feel when you hit the spot. Like if I move a little bit off of it, there's nothing. If I move a little bit there, nothing, nothing. And then, oh yeah, there it is, right there. Okay, so it's almost a little bit hidden underneath some flesh there. Okay, so it's underneath. You want to hook in and then pull it out that way. So that's the adrenal gland. So liver is found on the right foot. And it is going to be found below the diaphragm line here. Okay, where your toes bend there. It's going to be above the waistline, so that bone sticks out. Okay. Then you are going to half this, right? So there's the middle line there, and that goes all the way across the top. Okay, so that's the part of the liver there, bottom there, and then what you're going to do is block it off that way. Sorry, it's a little bit awkward to see, but can you see the whole space in here? That is the liver. Okay, so it's like almost like a half a t-shirt, right? You have the sleeve out here, you have the torso of the t-shirt there, right? And the neck would be up here, for example, right? So it's this whole area all in here. And so it's quite big, and you want to work it really well. Okay, so I kind of like this dot to dot kind of technique, just to move it all the way around and work all those areas. Again, searching for any type of tenderness or you know, any type of pain or something like that. If you do find some tender areas, just work it, spend a little bit more time there. That would be good. And if you want to use your tool, this would be a good time to use it. And you can just push in and work this whole area. So it's quite a big area, because in your body the liver is big, right? So that is the liver. Stomach. Underneath the diaphragm, you're going to come basically walking along underneath it. You're going to stop under the fourth toe, and then you're going to come across like this. Okay, so just where the waistline is there, you're just going to dip down around that way. So it's almost like a backwards C or a really bad drawn J. Okay, so it's a little curve like this. Okay, so there's the landmarks there. So I'm going to walk across this way, stop there, and then I'm going to finish it off and walk that way. Okay, so you can see just like that. And this is the direction that digestion runs in, so you have a clockwise movement. So you want to stimulate in the same direction. Okay, you don't want to go the opposite way. You want to run this direction. And what I do is I just walk across this way like I already showed you, and then I walk down this way. And if I follow the same method, I will never go the opposite way. Okay, which might happen when you use a tool, right? So you want to just make sure that you're walking in the correct direction. Okay, down this way, because that's the same way that it follows in our body. So that's the stomach. So large intestine starts over here, and at the top of, like just where the heels kind of round, and you're going to walk straight up to the waistline. Okay, so you're going to walk like this. This is a little bit awkward to do on yourself, but we go up this way, we turn, and we walk across the waistline. Okay, so it's just a simple line up, turn, and go across. So this is the ascending colon, right? Turn, goes into the transverse colon, and then it jumps on to the left foot and continues with the transverse down, descending, sigmoid, and then out, right? So you have to jump from one foot to the other. You can choose to do it now, so you can walk up this way, turn, walk across, and then you can switch over and continue that way. Or you can finish everything off on your right foot and go over to the left foot, right? So it's up to you. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't seem to be a difference. I personally like, especially when I'm working with a client and I have both feet in front of me, I like to work it all in one go, because then I know that I've done it and I won't forget. You can also use your tool here to work across this way. Right, so that's the first half of the large intestine. For the small intestine, you have given a nice outline of where the small intestine goes, right? So large intestine here, that means the small intestine is all underneath it and below it, right? No direction you need to follow here. The large intestine follows one direction, which is a clockwise version, same with the stomach, follows in only one direction, right? Large intestine follows in one direction. Small intestine, doesn't matter. You can go wherever you want. And you just work that whole area. So you can use this little dot to dot type of a technique. Or you can get out your tool and kind of do any type of rolling or pointed pressure. Doesn't really matter. But again, searching for any type of discomfort or sensitive areas, right? And just spend some more time there. There you go, small intestine. Okay, so finish off the large intestine, find where the waistline is. You're going to come right across. Okay, and then you're going to come down to the top corner of this heel, to the center, up to the other top corner there, and then you're going to walk up, around a little bit there. Okay, so it looks like this. Walk across, walk down to the center of the heel, walk up to the other corner, flip your hand, and walk up that way there. Okay, so you come around and you walk up that way, pushing into the bone. Okay, and so that finishes off the large intestine. Good. And then with the small intestine, you have drawn the outline for it. So you can just work in any direction that you want. With the large intestine, again, it's only one direction, okay? Because that's the way it works in your body. Again, it's a clockwise working, right? But the small intestines, they don't really matter which way they go because they're all wrapped and stuff. And you just need to work it really well. You can use your tool. Right, any type of little movement, whatever feels comfortable. I think I tend to use my thumbs and they feel better. But there you go. So thanks for sticking with me to the end. That's a lot of points. Hopefully this helps you. If there's any points that you have found that be a great benefit for allergies and things like that, let me know. That would be awesome. Put it in the comments below so other people can learn from you. Until next time, this is Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. Remember to keep those feet happy. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching today. If you're interested in reflexology, this might be a channel to subscribe to. If you haven't already, hit, or better yet, step on that bell icon, and then you'll be notified when the next video is coming out. If you're looking for a reflexology chart, head on over to balancingtouch.ca. We have created a bunch of visually exciting, easy to understand reflexology charts for you. And if you have some more time, check out some other videos. Till next time, this is Adam Thomas from balancingtouch.ca. See you later.